Hi guys, welcome to the video. In this video I'm going to be doing a solo Grandmaster level run of Beneath the Necropolis, or for us old timers, Pit Heresy. Now it is a smaller version of Pit Heresy, it's about, I don't know, just over half, maybe two-thirds of it. But on the screen you'll see all the weapons, mods and the modifiers that I used to set up this run. A really cheap modifier for this run is starting with no ammo, because you actually get a rally barricade or a rally flag before you start any combat, so it's basically impossible to start with no ammo. Now, the setup that I'm using is for the part of the Pit Heresy I thought that we had to do for this based on how long we have to do it, which is like 15.5 minutes. I figured they wouldn't be asking you to do too much in 15.5 minutes because the first area is quite big. Well, we'll get to that when we get to it. As soon as you come in, you're going to come to this area. If you stand on this chain, you'll drop right through all these structures. It's a clear path all the way to the bottom. Just remember to jump, boost, float, whatever, before you get to the bottom, because you take some substantial fall damage. Now, this first area, the Necropolis, will entail finding 3 sigils. They are the hive sigils. Most people will be well versed in the types of sigil because they've been in the game in different guises a few times. You'll have to find 3 of them, which you've got to go to one place, which I affectionately call A because, well, it looks like an A. You have to go to A to find out the 3 sigils you have to find. Once you find those sigils, there will be a different hive elite within the structure where the sigil is, and you have to kill it using a hive sword. Now, it's 3 different attacks you need. It's 3 different mechanics or actions you have to use to kill them, but I'll talk you through that if you don't already know. And I'm pretty sure most people know the Pit Heresy, but if you're new to Destiny or you joined after this has been a thing, or you've just forgot, then don't worry, I got you covered. So we are at A, and as you've seen, that massive sigil looks like an A. Now at each one of these structures you will have a barrier knight, and then you will have a pit keeper. There he is there, basically an arc shielded hive knight. To get the door to open, there he is, look at him. He even put a shield up but just got dragged out it by the grenade. The pit keeper opens the door to this chamber. And in these chambers, exactly the same as this, we're going to find, once we find the sigil, we're going to find these 3 hive elites. So, the first one I kind of like to call Turret. Because when I was doing this guide the very first time, about 5 years ago, I was just trying to think of common things that those sigils look like. And that looks a little bit like a turret. A deployable turret, shall we say. So when you get to these structures, the chamber that where we went in to get the sword, there will be the exact same type of enemies, save for one. Patrolling the walkways, you're going to have ogres. And that, especially if you're traversing the different areas, that's the one you've got to watch out for. Because they have a long distance, well, we all know ogres, right? Long distance, heavy attack. So I'm just checking that there are no other enemies outside, and in this first room we've got the Shriekers. Now each of these elites has accompanying adds, bodyguards if you like. The Shrieker has 2 ogres. Now sometimes you never see the ogres. Other times you're going to have both of them, but here I think I killed both of them by exploding the new Malpai's explosive shots on one of them, and it killed the other one. As I'm showing you here, you cannot damage these adds from outside the room. You have to go inside. Now, don't quote me on this. You might be able to do the wizard or the hive knight, but you definitely cannot do the shrieker. And the idea is you've got to block with the sword and aim the shrieker's projectiles back at it, and it's its own projectiles that kill it. So that's the shrieker taken care of. Now the next one, I believe, is the wizard. Now the wizard's accompanying adds are 2 wizards, 2 solar shielded wizards. So it's an idea to kill those wizards before you go after the main wizard. Now because I've got the same sword, chances are it's not even the chance, I've got 29 sword ammo, 28 now. I'm not going to be able to kill this wizard, the elite wizard, with this. So I'm going to have to go and find another sword. Which, I'm kind of glad that it happened like this, because I can show you what I do. Because I remember when this was a dungeon, when it first came out. After a while, it seemed like they changed that, because it was... They want the accursed sword bearers, they want spawn at the same regularity, and it became really kind of annoying that if you put your sword down to fight enemies, or you know, ran out of sword ammo as we have, it wasn't so easy to find other sword bearers. This is what I do, and it works. I have to do it twice in this video, and it worked really well. These kind of bridges are where the sword bearers will spawn randomly once you're out of A, the first room where we went into to kill the sword bearer. So what I do is I make it right across the bridge to the next structure. As long as you go inside this structure, so basically off the bridge, and then come back, a sword bearer should spawn. And the reason you'll know your sword bearer spawned is because these guys, the acolytes that spawn with them, they will already have spawned. Quick tip, if you're using the new Malpai, which I figure a lot of people are kind of using it, I think, and you do that, whatever it's called, where you explode the shots, make sure you're a little bit away from them, because those shots are really, really powerful and will kill you if you're in the vicinity of them. On the bar on the bottom, just above my grenade and my melee and class ability, you will see that the super bar is going up a decent pace. That is the sword super, not yours. Now the sword super is pretty potent. It will work on, except I don't know about the Shrieker, because it's really difficult to damage a Shrieker with a ground based super, especially a sword super. But it works on the other two elites, this wizard and the knight. Now, the way you deal damage to the wizard, with the Shrieker you had to block and aim the projectiles back. With the wizard it's the heavy attack. So you throw a projectile using R2, or whatever your fire button is, with the sword. It has some tracking ability, but it's not aggressive. You can throw it from behind a pillar. You'd have seen me do it a couple of times there, and it will bend slightly round the pillar, but as I say, it is not aggressive. Another cool thing you can do with the sword is you can fly to a degree. I remember hearing this. It's like, it's not flying, it's falling with grace. It's that Toy Story. Guess who's got young kids? You can travel with it. Fly's a bit of a strong word, but you can traverse the area quite well with it. But obviously, you use sword ammo. I apologise for this. The bounce threw my aim off massively. I did manage to touch that ogre with the grenade, but there's no killing happening there. And as you can see, because I used the sword on the wizard and used it to traverse this area, I've just dropped it because I only had 10 ammo. That is not enough to kill any of the elites. 10 won't do any of them. So there's my pit keeper. Once I kill the pit keeper, I can go and find a sword bearer. Which, since we've just came up across a bridge, we're going to utilise the same. I'm just looking to see if there's one wandering about, which there isn't. So we'll utilise the same trick. We will traverse this bridge and then come straight back, and a sword bearer should spawn in. So the weapon setup that I'm using, it works really well here. And I'm going to cover this in about 7 or 8 minutes. This was built, this whole build was to do the parts of this dungeon I thought you had to do. Now a lot of people that know this encounter will probably know already what part of the dungeon I didn't think we'd have to do. 15.5 minutes. I thought that was a bit strong. I mean, I'm gonna say I'm like, I would class myself as one of the, you know, an average player. 15.5 minutes is, I mean, that's quick for me. If I had a better setup and really thought about it, if I knew what I actually had to do in the dungeon, then maybe I'd have tweaked it a little bit. I don't know. 15.5 minutes is tough. Yep, so what's happened there is that you see I'm red because the Might of the Broken Blade, this Hive Elite sword knight, he hit one of the false pieces of ammunition which exploded right next to me. Because this is the way you kill this knight. He will hit you with the sword, which you block, and the minute his sword is passed past you, you do light attacks. And I'm not going to have it here, but your super works, the sword super works perfect on this. Which, whatever you've got your sword, whatever buttons your sword is bound to. Now, I changed the bind of my super a long time ago to up on my D-pad as my super button. So whatever yours is, if it's the bog standard shoulder buttons, then that is what the sword super is as well. Now, as you'll see, there's a big green light coming from this. You would have just seen it there. There was a big green light coming from the top of that structure. Whatever you do your last sigil, look for that green light. It'll be the same structure all the time, which is this one here, but in conjunction to where you're coming from, just look for the big green light. Once you've killed all 3 elites, look for the big green light, and that's where you're headed to. So, that is the first section done. Now we are heading towards what is creatively known as the Ogre Maze. And the reason why we call it the Ogre Maze is because it is a maze and it's got ogres. I mean, what else do you want? It's perfect, right? The ogres cannot be killed, and if you're an old fart like me, you'll forget how to do the maze, which I actually had to watch my video, which I made 5 years ago to remember the route I took, because I remember my route being very, very simple. And I've got to tell you, 5 years later, repeatable strats, people, still really simple. So, once you get to the bottom here, you're going to be given 2 options, left or right. You're going to want to go to the right. Now, these channels that we're running now, there are 3 distinct lines. There's the right hand side, the left hand side, and the middle. If you run in this doorway, so if you kind of watch the video and see what doorway I actually came in, you will have a barrier champion inside, yet again, 3 of the rooms. 3 seems to be the magic number. I thought that was the exit there. So whatever way you come in, you're gonna go the opposite way. So you'll know which way is the opposite. I'm just killing time here because I thought I had tons of it. You're gonna go in the opposite way, and the way you know is I've come in that way, so that kind of brown material that was over the doorway, this material was gone. So what, you go in one way, you come out the other, and then when you come out, you don't go, you come out this way. I don't know why I'm doing that. The way I just went out is the way you should go out. So you came in that way behind, and then you go out this way, and you go up to your right. Turn right, and then go in the first entrance. This is a semicircle. This will take you round in a semicircle round to the right, which will bring you back out in the exact same tunnel, but up next to where you need to slam. And you need to slam 3 of these. So this is 1. So once you've slammed it, come back down the corridor and see this big glaring light on the left? We're going in here. This will be the second of our barrier champions. So I'll drop this there, and as soon as it kills a wizard, one of the acolytes, because I've got Devour on, I'm just going to try and invite them all into a spot, and then it's probably not, I probably don't have to say this, but I'm going to. One of the modifiers I've used is I get my grenade back really quickly, and my grenade does more damage. In retrospect, probably could have put a sword on for these sections. So you run up to the left there, and you put the... That's us done 2 sides. That's the left and the middle done. I think that we actually done middle than left. So you're going to go back out the way you came into this room, turn right, and go in the last door here. And this will be our 3rd barrier champion. So we just throw a grenade there, put my rift down, and we'll take out the barrier which drops for last orb. And there we go. Now, obviously, there's going to be a load of ads here. No problem to us. We go through, so we came back in, and we go through to the other side. Go round. Well, we actually came when we came into this room. It's the first time we've been in there, but we don't go back out the way we came. We go through to the other side, run up to the end, and then we slam the orb. 30 seconds remaining, and as far as I was aware, that was as much as I had to do. And then I seen this. This is the Chamber of Suffering. It used to be the worst part of this dungeon. I am not set up to do this part, but I'm going to show you how to do it, because I mean, I would have been annoyed if I couldn't have done it first time. But the idea of this is, again, you're going to have barrier champions that are going to drop orbs. You have to put the orbs behind. There's a applicator that you can put the orbs in. That's behind where we are. It's back just to the left. But what you've got to do is you have to keep going on to this plate. If you don't go onto the plate enough, then basically it will class that as you a fail and you'll die. Now, I'm going to go and get this first orb, and then you'll see the way I've done it differently for the rest of them. The way I've done it differently is actually the way that I normally do it. And as you can see here, 2 in 1. I'm showing you how to do it, and we're also picking up the final data pad that I needed for that one. So, once you slam the orb, then you're going to get a whole bunch of enemies. Like I said, I was not prepared to do this part. Now luckily, the one thing I did have was Devour. Devour is helping me do this. And you see here, I'm just basically I'm peppering these ads. I'm going to throw a grenade up there, and that'll maybe stop them shooting at me, because it'll just grab them together. I maybe would have picked different weapons, but upon thinking about it, I was caught a little bit off guard, if I'm being honest, because I wasn't expecting this to be part of it. Because, well, I ran Galran. I couldn't remember how to do that either. I ran Galran. It was just the first encounter. Thanks for auto-tracking that. I remember doing that and thinking, what are you doing? But that wasn't really my fault, because I thought it should have tracked. So you're going to see what I'm doing now, right? I've killed that barrier over there, and that barrier has dropped an orb. Just break this barrier and then kill him. Now I have 2 orbs, so I'll go back onto the plate to refresh, and I will go and pick up the first orb that I dropped. You can collect 2, maybe even 3 orbs if you're fast enough before they disappear, and you can put them in one after another. Now, as you've seen the first time, when you put an orb in, you get a bunch of ads. So we're just going to throw a grenade out there. I'm going to go on to the plate, refresh the plate again, just throw another grenade, and then I'm going to put these 2 orbs on back to back. Now that has spawned in a bunch of enemies, but when you do 2, you don't get double the enemies, so you have to do, I believe, it's 6. So I'd forgot that, and I don't know what made me remember it, but I had forgot that I had to do 6 of them. Because the way I've just done it is the way I used to do it after the ball duplication thing, where we used to be able to duplicate. I'll just keep the grenades going down here. Again, like I say, if I'd have remembered how to do this, I would have done it differently. But as long as I've got Devour. Now, one thing I'll say about these knights is you get a knight, those knights at the top, you get one on the left, one on the right, okay? When you start shooting the one on the right, he will teleport. So don't expect to be able to shoot them one at a time, and he will teleport. There's an app thing. Yep. He will teleport to the other side, so just know that's going to happen. Every time that's going to happen. So I'll just finish off these ads at the front before I start taking out, seriously trying to take out these, this champion. Break his shield, and there it goes. And we'll throw one over here. Just go over. See how we've got Curse of Suffering times 5? So if I go back home, we'll just kill him. That's how much extra damage I'm going to take. I believe that's what that is. So I'll grab this. We're just going to throw my grenade there. Grab this. And I'll charge another one. I'll just get onto the plate. Slam. See how when I slammed I lost all those Curse of Sufferings. And now, I'm going to get a whole bunch more ads. But now, because I slammed a single one, I've still got to slam one. I still have to slam. Just take out. And then hold the reload. That should kill both of them. Oh, nearly. Yeah, if I'd have done the double thing, so what I'm doing is I'm killing 2 of these knights. Now I do it again here, and this is how I remember that it was 6. Just keep my Devour going. The scout rifle I'm using is the Trail Scout Rifle, and it's got some nasty little perks. The one that I am using Demoralize, which precision final blows weaken, become nearby targets to be weakened, and destabilizing runs. Very, very good. Very good. So the reason I was like, oh yeah, it's only 6 is when I pick this one up, I'm sure the other one disappears because I only need 6. And as you can see, it has disappeared because you only need 6. And upon slamming the 6 orbs, that is the encounter done. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the run. If you've got any suggestions for anything else you'd like to see, leave it in the comments. Take it easy, and I'll see you in the next one.